Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Cashflow Digital. Check out ODYS. You can get 30% off of any domain on the marketplace right now. So make sure you do check out ODYS. That deal is on up until the end of August. But I'm going to go straight into a comment from the public here. Do anything. Brian Shallox. Shallox. Make sure you grab beers from the fridge. It's not like I have a fight to train for. Not judging, just saying. What do you mean by that, Brian? What are you trying to say?
Sure. Either he's worried about you or he's on your side and he's not worried at all. So it's one or the other.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
He should be worried about you, but I mean, to be honest.
The smart money. Where is the smart money?
I can't find it. I just got a bunch of dumb money.
Talking about dumb money, Vietnam phone farm hype. Is that a dumb idea or is it working? Any of you guys?
I like to marry my VAs. How about you, Mike?
I do.
Yeah, so I'll have a whole farm in my house. So move to a state where we can have polygamy and then have a Vietnamese phone farm, just in the house,
Well, that's why it's, back when we needed to farm, that's what people did. They had children. Now that we do internet marketing, we have children.
Yeah, so exactly. I can't wait. I'm going to get my kids. I was looking, actually, Google has a data analytics course. It's like free. I'm like, I hope to God one of my kids I can talk one of them into taking that,
Exactly. I keep pushing my daughter thinks that she's doing YouTube for herself, but I'm just teaching her so she can take over when I decide to be lazy.
Yeah, YouTube, TikTok. Are you just twerking right now? You do those shows with your wife?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
I just wear that little black number that you bought me.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I'm glad you're getting some use out of that. It had the stain on it already.
Yeah,
but it should be able to wash out.
And then I can sell it. I'm trying to get this as high as possible, and then I can sell it to people like
I'll get a hat
through my garbage.
You are garbage, so.
Anyway, on that note, we will quickly move on to who else is here. Live IRL fan. I sure am still in the boat. We've got a heat wave, so I am filling my boots because it's a long winter. Paul Hogden is here. Have you got some more beers for when I arrive? Are you arriving where, Paul? In America? And Live IRL fan is laughing at your dress wearing, Mike.
Yeah.
Michael and Adam Poland are here. But guys, make sure you do put your questions in the chat.
Dude, I'm looking forward to dragging Chris Palmer out to North Carolina. We need to stick him on that lander, I think, Brad. I got bio from him last week at the
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure I can grab a pic of him. Would he want to box? How big is Chris in real life? I don't know. He can't be bigger than Craig. Craig,
does Chris want to box every time?
Yeah, Chase didn't. So
do it. Someone please fucking do it. We can't have him tearing it up. And the only reason I'm saying please do it is I'm not likely to get there in person. If I can, I will go and fucking beat his ass. But
luckily, everyone's only coming to see me get hit in the face, so I can get hit in the face by anyone. So
exactly.
I'll be there.
We did a show with Leo last week. That was fun, man. I really enjoyed talking to Leo. Leo's a good freaking dude. The tool is freaking awesome.
Smart motherfucker.
Keyword Cupid, if anyone is wondering what I was talking about when I said the tool. But I'm really looking forward to what people are walking away with this year from the workshop. It's going to be a freaking amazing ass time, dude. And that's why I'm going to build a scarecrow and put your head on it, Craig, because you got to be there no matter what. You're going to be watching like this.
By hook or by crook, I will be there, guys. Just not sure if I can land a blow in Brad's chin. But just for the record, that is...
You wouldn't be able to if you were here. So it's all the same to me.
We shall see.
Brad will be moving the same. Where's the gun show, Brad?
There it is.
It's here. But we do have a
question. Yeah.
A serious question. When building a mini-net for a money website, do you go for niche relevant domains?
Niche relevant domains, yes. Not necessarily with it in. I mean, it can be a PMD. It can be, as long as it's niche relevant, then you're good. Most definitely though.
Mininet. So, and this is actually a big topic of we've been using the keyword Cupid exports to build websites and to build networks, and that's kind of what we're doing this year. When you understand your market, when you understand who's buying, then you can decide, okay, this category is large enough for me to go out and build a secondary website. Or I can go out and build a couple websites, or I can go out and build a website and then build some sites under it. And so the intent and the conversion is what should dictate what you do with the network. We don't. Go ahead. No, you're good.
I was just going to say it's not typically too difficult, especially if you're going the expired domain route or going through someone like Otis for the higher quality domains. But you should be able to relatively easily find some stuff in your niche, especially local, because how many businesses come and go. So like if you've got to build out a network in the attorney space, there should be plenty of old ass attorney websites that you can go out and grab. If you need something in the rehab space, there's plenty of facilities that have come and gone, and their websites are there to grab. So plumbers, HVAC, anyone, go to directories, scrape those, find expired domains. I mean, there's a number of different avenues you can take to find those, but yeah,
it's interesting. I think, Leo, we had a conversation about it, I think all of us last week, and Craig, I want to know what your thought is, man. Like, to me, just going out and wanting to automate everything and build everything like from the get-go doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't have a reason to do something. Like, to me, you need to have a reason to do something. Like, do I need a freaking network to sell this shampoo, or can I do it with a single brand? Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, I know you've done PBNs, you love PBNs like we do. What are your thoughts, man? Like, do you always go out and build a network for everything you do, or?
Absolutely not. I was speaking at a conference earlier today again as well, and people were like, do you use tiered link building for every niche you're in and all that? Absolutely not. The job is to do the least amount of work and make the most amount of money you can. Now, if you're operating in a casino niche and stuff, you're going to have to build out mini nets, PB8, whatever. You're going to have to do things really aggressively. But if I can rank for something with 5 guest posts, that's it, job done. And I want that to be the case. I want the job to be easier. I don't particularly want to sit and just, there's no point in spending money on these strategies if you don't have to. It's as simple as that. It's all about how much money you can make with the minimal input. And sadly, most niches you have to put in some form of money and investment, but it doesn't always have to be in that type of stuff. So you can get away with good on page and turn the screw on everything and then start to build out your network or whatever you're going to be doing as and when required.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that a lot of people get into this like boilerplate thing where it's I got to do the same thing all the time, which ends up just taking money off the table.
But yeah.
What's that?
I said I do like doing the same thing over and over. Like,
absolutely. Don't get me wrong. There are things you can boilerplate the crap out of and just repeat. But if you get stuck in that method or that like loop of you're always going to go do the same thing, you have a large chance of leaving money on the table, in my opinion. Or
what happens when that single thing stops working? I mean, there's got to be innovation in there as well. Optimization. Once everything's optimized, then you can start innovating. Once you've got cash flow coming in, once you've got a few projects that are doing exceptionally well, then think about expanding into the network, creating alternative money sites and stuff like that. So,
but also future-proofing your business is a good thing to look at as well. Once you get the revenue coming, try and be cleaner, do all the other things, add schema, try and grab the featured snippets and all of that kind of stuff as well. Always think ahead of time, not just what is working for now, because if you lose that source, you can be screwed.
And that's a good point, and I have some stuff for today too. But for this year, like when we get together, that's kind of what it's all about. Like our optimization process that we're going to be talking about that we use in our campaigns. You're not necessarily going out and doing everything from day one because you might not need everything, and it might be too much, and it might cost you too much, and you might leave money on the table. Putting it up, getting it up there so it can rank and score, and then coming back and doing things like you just said to make more traffic come in and make more money is the way to go, in my opinion. So,
well, yeah, on building on what Craig said, go ask any GMB person that solely pulls in calls from GMBs. Ask them how much it stings when there's, a complete wipeout of their network. It fucking sucks. It's like enough to bring you to tears and make you want to go and get a day job again.
I've seen cry over freaking GMB updates.
I mean, when you've got that much money on the line and that much money coming in and then it's gone, you're like, I am.
Even like a 20% hit to certain people, that's a lot of money, dude. Like when that stuff gets wiped. And, Craig said something about future proofing, which I thought was interesting because like they just dropped out an article over on Search Engine Journal about what lies ahead in SEO. And it says 3 key areas of focus, and I was kind of wondering what you guys thought of these areas. I have my, the first one was question answering, the second one was local driven results, and the third one was strong searcher intent. And I actually tend to agree with these focuses here, and to me, the question part and the intent part, that all goes hand in hand. I don't know if I can separate them in my head. I mean, but so when we talk about questions, local and intent, like what are your guys' thought about going forward in SEO, and are these things that we should focus on or not?
I mean, honestly, they can all tie together. All 3 of those. Well, like you've got intent, and then you've got local intent. You're seeing more and more of, like you've mentioned on the webinars, the blended results. So yeah, I think they're extremely prevalent.
I think, if you think not as an SEO and use a common sense approach, what else are Google supposed to do? Yeah. If you're putting out informational content and you're trying to sell a product, you're not giving the right answer to the user. If someone wants to buy something, you're given a whole heap of information and there's nothing to buy. Why the fuck would Google want to serve that page for that search term? So it's just Google evolving, and it's crazy to think that you wouldn't have to do it. It's, a very common sense approach, and I think that's just the way you've got to look at it. The answering the questions, feeding the public what they want, and obviously serving them with the right intent. Gone are the days of Googling something and up comes these ropey PBN that's not even bloody semi-relevant to what you're searching for. So,
I used to accidentally rank all my PBNs. The PBNs would be, essentially ranking above the money site. You're like, shit, it's this shitty looking page. So you've got to go in and like optimize it from a user perspective so it can maybe convert from there. I did that. That happened a lot when I was doing the local SEO agency type stuff.
I dropped it in your messenger. Sorry, Brad. I dropped that in your messenger if you need it, Craig. And that's the intent thing is interesting because what I see a lot of people have problem right now is that they take their content way too broad. It's like if we're selling like organic reusable diapers or something, and we have a client or whatever.
Craig's gonna be wearing one of those if he could make it to the US
after the fight, dude. Really though, like think about this. Like, what is the purpose of ranking for the head turn diaper? Like, nothing. Is that converting for like specific, like there's so many things that can come off of that term. And you will see, and there is an article over somewhere about this going on somewhere right now. But if you look at the head terms, and it was John Mueller answering a question, I think is what it came off of, that basically when you see these results for like a head term like diaper or programming or soap or whatever, there is such a lack of like intent and it's so ambiguous that it really makes no sense to go out and try to rank for that term, like, and spend budget going after that term. If you rank for it, great, that's one thing, but you can rank for that by ranking for the terms that you're actually going to convert, right?
Wasn't Jimmy at some point, just for fun, trying to outrank Google for the term keyword planner, right?
I think so.
That was like his wet dream to do that. I'm like, why, dude? He's like, I'm paying 23 grand a month for this server. What the fuck?
Dude, you just triggered my Google Assistant, bro. That's funny.
Hey, Google.
Started searching keyword planner. It comes, I spent, I think we spent probably close to $700,000 ranking for the term luxury, right? And the whole time I'm going, why are we freaking doing this? Why are we freaking doing this? And this was 16 years ago, 17, maybe 15 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but the whole time, there's no talk of intent at the time, but it's always been a part of it. Like, why spend the budget to rank for this term? And I know why. We did it for a branding reason. We did it for sales, but from a conversion standpoint, ranking for that kind of head term.
You're on that specific site, you were selling ad space, right?
We were.
It was all tied to the amount of users that comes to you.
Yeah.
In that case, it might make sense if you can justify it from a monetary
standpoint. It would. From the sales standpoint, it ended up probably being profitable, but it was a long bitch of a fucking journey that I wouldn't have done if I had a choice, right?
Yeah.
And so whether or not people have ever thought about, like in the past, people were thinking about search intent, query intent. It's always been a factor in SEO, and it's never not been a factor. So I think that the people that don't focus on it and that don't look for the pathways of ease that are in this kind of shit with intent are missing out on, like, this is the snake, bro. The snake does this.
That's what you said.
Right. This is the snake, bro. So the intent aspect, I think, is huge. And I think that goes directly into questions. Questions can literally craft the intent. Right. Like,
with questions come more of a voice search optimization than, in my opinion, going forward.
Questions absolutely are, like, we've trained our technology to be like they call them assistants. That's what it is. They are questions. I ask my freaking phone a question all the freaking time, dude.
My kids love the Google speaker that we have, because they're like, hey, Google, what's the weather today? Hey, Google, how many days until Sunday? Hey, Google, what's the date today? Hey, Google, shit like that. Like the Paw Patrol movie was coming out, right? And they knew the date, but they have no clue what date it is. They're like, and it's Friday. Hey, Google, what's the date today? And they tell us, okay. And just to make sure, hey, Google, when's the new Paw Patrol movie come out? And then Google would spit it out. They're like, oh, sweet. And then they go to the TV and fucking bring it up.
And how old are they, dude?
7 and 5.
Yeah, it's the perfect example. Like, my son, like, last week was able to, like, in a single freaking voice command, basically buy an ebook and download it and have Alexa read it to him, right? So to miss out on that is a big thing. So I think going forward, it's extremely important. So Kazi, question for GMB, since we mentioned it, what is one way we should be looking at building these GMBs so that when a wipe occurs, we are a little safer?
You want to have your shit backed up and make it look as real of a business as possible. If you want to get under the radar, I've seen rehab GMBs for years and years slide under the radar by having a nondescript name, which does make it quite a bit harder to rank, but they're going to stick around theoretically much longer. So if you get a nondescript name, optimize the lander, and then push it from there, it's going to take longer for you to see a return, but the lifetime value of that GMB might be, might tip the scale in that favor. So that's one way. Another way is, of course, having it look as real as possible, is like having credit cards on file, running ads from set account, all of that type of stuff.
Any way to, if you know the different methodologies out there to do things in Google, like if you have a way to contact a person, if I would say it like this, if you can treat it like it's a real business and have the ability to recover it like it's a real business, then you're in a better position from many angles.
Tie it to one of these,
Yes.
Get a for each GMB block or each site that you have maybe 5 to 10 GMBs tied to, get one of these, pay the $15 a month. Log in on your phone from there. Never connect to your Wi-Fi. Always go through that IP address of the phone. It's just incremental steps you can take to make it seem more legit and potentially help you to recover it. I know a lot of people use like forged documents to get to get GMBs and shit too, and those seem to stick quite a bit better once you've been authenticated that way. From an ethical, legal standpoint, I'm not going to suggest it, but yeah, that option is there. So.
Here, I would say focus on feature snippets, focus on text target type stylization, and focus on your content.
Yeah, whatever is going to provide you more real estate on the screen.
You want something that they'll utilize and they'll read that to people. So, yeah.
Kazi, can we do a photo shoot when you're in Greensboro? Because I like the background on that. You know, I need someone with artistic flair, and Mike just doesn't have it. It always makes me look like a caveman.
Is Kazi going to the event?
Oh, yeah, he signed up. Yeah.
Yes. Good commitment. Good commitment, Kazi.
Dude, we've got some people, I think, crossing under the wall in between Canada and the U.S. to get in here. It's gonna be interesting. So
arms are getting twisted from AU a lot too right now, dude. So
yeah.
So where is Kazi from?
Canada.
I was just curious to know what he was getting in. I didn't know if he was going to Canada from wherever. And yeah,
I think it's possible if you have the vaccination. If maybe you have to agree to do a quarantine after. I've read in the group though that you don't have to currently, and then certain stuff is going to be lifted at the end of September. So who knows? We've got 2 or 3 Canadian NFGers coming for sure though. Good.
And he is from Bangladesh, but made it to Canada. Yeah. So would be easy. I'm not even sure you would get out of Bangladesh just now. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, a lot easier from Canada. Mike, if you get any other questions.
Yeah, there's a big one that I got actually that I want to go over. So let me pull that up, dude.
How big is it, Mike?
Very big, baby.
It's a huge.
Yeah. We've got another person talking that's coming from up north in the Great.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Poppy is the one that was talking about it in the group. Big Poppy. He said no quarantine if you got the double vax. So, and that did just get FDA approval, I think, this week. So that's good news.
The double vax. All right. So this was about a person that is they have a client. They're going to be building out 1,000+ page website and rendering them dynamically. And so they planned keywords for e-commerce before, but there's a series of questions. We're planning to use subdirectories to organize our big keyword categories. So the category page might be something like category, then blog, then category, then blog. So category and page. Like, so it's a subdirectory structure. Planning keywords.
Like category and blog post. It's not category and blog. And
right. No, not like category with multiple category, but like the actual post in there is the way he's saying it. And then he's planning the keywords in a spreadsheet, but in general, pages are probably going to be added before I have time to keyword plan for them. This is a good point right here. So we're creating page formats that will allow best practices for headings, subheadings, and relevant page content for each page type. For example, person page will have one template. Other pages will have another template. I have no idea how to begin planning links except by running a general large-scale outreach campaign. So there's a couple questions here. First, the structure, because that's where I think I would focus. I don't think that in most cases, unless it's a smaller site, I don't pre-plan the full website's content unless I'm selling a content plan, right? And so a page template is right. Yeah, a page template is important. So I guess Craig and Brad, like what elements? Because I do believe just getting crap up and then coming back in and optimizing later is probably the best way forward for me. What are your thoughts on that? Like, overthink it, or I'm sorry, that's tailoring you to answer my question, but go ahead. You know what I mean?
I am personally very much one of those guys like yourself who throws enough mud at the wall, see what sticks. If I throw 20 blog posts out, 5 of them may bring in some really, really good traffic, and I would go in and optimize those, potentially merge other stuff together and optimize from there. I think you can overthink it, and I don't want to waste too much time trying to write out the next 18 months worth of content. Things change in this industry as well. And I think that's the case for a lot of industries. So you have to be on the ball and on fire and keep it current, keep it in trending topics, and work that way rather than writing out a douchebag content plan for the next 2 years. I think that's just the stupidity, if I'm being honest.
You do that if you have a corporate client and that's what they need, like Mike said.
That's why you do it.
Yeah. If you're working for American Express and they need to see that up front, and you charge them 30 to 50 grand to do that, then by all means.
And you hate your life for a few days at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst crap, dude. It's good money, but it's horrible to do.
Yeah, no, I think overthinking it is like where a lot of people get in trouble, especially if they do it, then they put it up and then they never go back to it. Like you said, like it changes constantly. It's updating constantly. They understand each query constantly in a different manner. So if you overthink that and you plan that, by the time you get to this plan in a year, it might be irrelevant. Then something might be gone and not be a part of your market anymore. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong,
Also, Mike, like this is my perception. I throw a bit of content out there, do I wrap it all in schema and I do all the FAQs? Nah, if it's getting traffic, I'll go in and do that later on and do all of that shit. So I'm not spending time doing worthless amounts of work for a page that may or may not fucking
absolutely. So on that note, the question was like the template, and for me, what I think about is like, okay, I want headers. I want some lists with information. I want those questions, and I want to answer that kind of crap based around the page's intent, wherever it is in that marketing funnel. And if I structure that, like that is structured data in Google's eyes. Like having a header with a paragraph and a list there, they can group that into something and score it and understand that, okay, this is something that we can deliver. So if you get that basic amount on the page and come back in and do markup later, that's the way I look at it. And that's what we do. Like in casino, we do that in all these markets that are like hard markets to get into, and even like when we're building new lead gen stuff, we might even just go out and grab a bunch of top ranked stuff based on our research and rewrite it or paraphrase it, put it up, and then come back in and structure it, cut pages, combine pages. But you're crafting that, like it's optimization, right? It's not a one.
It goes back to Kyle's infamous rhinoplasty Plano or whatever it was example. He ranked that with lorem ipsum, but he had the structure there. He knew what he needed on the bare minimum that he needed on the page.
That's what it is.
He ranked it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're getting content. In this case, get the content up, dude. Get the freaking article and content plan. Get it up. Rewrite it later, dude. Like you can start to see. That's why we talk about keyword exclusion. That's why we talk about inclusion, is because like you see this crap and you start to see cannibalization. That's real cannibalization. Well, then you start to put those into a single paste, and then you start to craft this website a little bit differently. You can 404 and 301 shit later. You don't have to overthink it. Just get it up.
We sent everyone out a few weeks ago. We sent out an email showing everyone how to quickly grab content that is poised to rank in the top 10, easily. So
it's like a 10-second process, dude. Like seriously, to build content, Like you don't have to overthink it. So on that note, like planning. So the next thing he asked was about the link building. He doesn't understand how to start planning the link building for this. And what I would say personally, like I know this person's not going to take our advice because this is a white hat kind of dude that is going to do outreach and is going to do like
have fun.
I almost said negative SEO to themselves, but I just mean not negative, but like ineffective, slow. Let's say slow. Slow sucks, dude. And to me, I would start looking.
I like slow sucks, but I mean that's just me,
dude. Yeah.
Moving on. Sorry, got distracted.
Thanks, Adam. This one, the Reddit stuff and the Instagram stuff. Yeah, I know one, and she's married to my partner.
So you're not available for hire then?
No.
She's expensive.
Yeah, it takes your soul.
Yeah.
What?
No, Reddit's amazing, dude. Go ahead.
My wife's got 80-something thousand. What do you know? I sent you the link the other day, right?
I think it was like 90, close to 90 when I looked last.
Yeah, on Instagram, and then like 220, 250, something like that on TikTok. So, and it's not like booty shaking shit. It's legit stuff. So, yeah.
What about Reddit? What I was going to add there, Mike, is Reddit still worthwhile a worthwhile traffic source in your opinion?
Oh yeah, I love Reddit, dude. That's my favorite social platform, man.
Especially in certain niches. But yeah, I mean, fucking look at what Wall Street Bets was able to do with GameStop, and tell me Reddit's not relevant, especially in certain niches. Maybe not every niche, but yeah.
There's the quality of the buyer, the quality of the person there. If you understand how to work that ecosystem, like if you're that douche that goes out there and get themselves doxxed because they're an asshat, then yeah, you're gonna have issues with Reddit. But the paid advertising and the content seeding, you throw all of that out and just look at it from a standpoint of like fire up a scraper and start looking for questions in Reddit, and you're gonna murder your content. Like Reddit is an amazing source of research for content. It's an amazing way to seed content. It indexes really fast.
Like if I wanted to get in the finance niche, I would just go into like the options subreddit, look at all of the fucking questions, and then just shit out videos and put them up there.
P-Raw is a Python library that if anyone out there writes any code or does any scripting Python, just go look at that, like the few tutorials out there, and write something with P-Raw for yourself. Like I'm in that crap all the time. I love that library. But yeah, it's a great source. When should I start? So this takes us back to that link building question, and I'm going to be, when I'm planning that content there and I'm putting that content together, I am also going to be determining, okay, I'm actually just going to go by the number of links I like to buy per page is what I'm going to do every time I put up a piece of content. So
when looking at like base link building too, would you suggest starting with the entity and all of that type of stuff too, Mike? And then
I would start with it. Start with the entity, and then most of the time, if I don't have the traffic for the profile, I'm not going to go out and drop a bunch of stuff. So the pages that I have on the site, the pages that we create on the site, dictate how many links I can build in my head. I don't know. How do you do the link planning portion, or what have you traditionally done, Craig or Brad?
I do the same thing you do, Craig.
It's very much, it's all similar. We're not doing anything fucking different. Like, you need to get some power to these websites. If you're starting out in a new campaign, you're going to need to load up the content. You're also going to need to get some decent link juice. You have to look at what the competition have got, essentially start grabbing some of that shit and then going from there. And it's one of those things, when it's a new affiliate website, I normally would typically take advantage of an age domain name rather than having to start out doing a lot of these
absolutely, dude.
But if it's a brand new thing, I have started brand new projects, and you do have to suck it up, ordering your citations, doing all that basic bullshit just to get just to give Google a little tickle and see that they let them know that you're up to something, and then just start looking at the competition, grab what they've got. That's the first thing you're going to do, is grab what the competition have got, and then try and get something that they've not got and they can't get, and that's what's going to give you the upper hand.
Yeah, and I would also think about directly how that link building is affecting the site based on the internal structure. So your modular links, like how your categories are structured, like your menu is structured, and then your contextual links, how your little groups are structured, is going to have a lot of play on how the links are effective for you. And also in affiliate, especially because you've got a direct conversion there, I would start buying traffic to your pages as well. I would start buying advertising and trying to convert the pages myself. There was a question I saw that was about should I create orphan pages for my PPC and have these no indexed orphan pages to buy my traffic to? And that's fine if that's what you do, but I can tell you right now, buying traffic and trying to convert on the pages, your ranking will enhance your ranking, and you will rank better than if you don't.
And if you're creating an orphan page, you better make sure that it converts as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I would look at it and I like the concept of buying an ad is like buying a link, because it is a link essentially. You're buying an image link when you buy.
You're buying traffic.
And traffic in an image link, and you're basically buying a link that Eric Ward, who I believe is the godfather of link building and outreach. Eric Ward always preached, let's go, Eric. I'm sorry you passed away, bro. This is pour out to you, dude. He always preached buying links or finding links that have traffic. And Link Moses was a great link source for a long time, that little newsletter he sold for $8 a month. But anytime you're buying an ad, you're basically getting a backlink that has traffic coming through it, which is what you want at the end of the day. Everyone goes out and does outreach on, I want to find a website with traffic. Why not just buy a freaking ad that will have traffic on it? It's the same fucking thing. So,
on the
you guys trust the link building software to pump links to your G sites or your high tier links?
I wouldn't trust myself to run a link building software at the moment because
I would trust the right people that do it. Not myself. I don't do it. I mean, I had servers at one time, but at this point, like, dude, I would just sit around and waste my own time if I had a freaking link piece
and blow up a site. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing with GSA, and that's why I quit doing it. You know, the further away from that type of link building we got. Yeah. So, can it still work? Yeah, we know people doing it, but do we suggest it? Probably not, because it's.
There was one update where there was a shift in that where like Real Eat and Real Authority like outdid it, but that happens a lot in updates. But after that little shimmy shank, whatever it was, it got better again, and I haven't heard anyone complaining that does it right. And especially talking about G sites, I can show you many examples of G sites with millions of freaking blog comments pointed at them that are doing millions of views a fucking month. So. Absolutely works. It's interesting. I always go back to what you said about blog comments, man. Like, I just think people, like, if they really think that this stuff doesn't work, then they're really missing like a key piece of like why we do what we do. Like, I don't understand how someone could think a blog comment from a ranked page is not a beneficial backlink, or like a post on a forum with targeted
back
traffic.
to Reddit too. Back to Reddit. I mean, if you're getting people to your site that are interested in the topic that your site is about, then it's extremely beneficial. You know, is it a pain in the ass to trudge through Reddit? Probably. You have to have like a passion for it. You know, a passion for whatever your site's about. But yeah, it can work.
I think a lot of people just shout their mouths off when you put your face out there in this industry. People will just look for a way to slam you regardless of what you're saying anyway. And I think that was an instance where people maybe don't understand what the point that's trying to come across. You know, if you're talking about that, I'm not suggesting that that's the best type of link to build, but do they serve a purpose? I think everything serves a purpose in this industry, and that's what you've got to understand. And I think a lot of these guys just go, he's trying to suggest that they're the best kind of links, and they're not even understanding the angle that I was coming from or whatever. So just stupidity in other people's parts, severe lack of understanding and a severe lack of any real intelligence.
I have a
You
network.
just described me, Craig.
Yeah, lack of intelligence, dude. That's after the fight with Craig, not before, bro. So I looked at a network that I have that needed to be updated because it dipped a little bit and it needed like a push of like spun content or whatever and a couple links. And I looked at it and like, this is why I think what you said is like people don't understand, like every market is different. Like this network's highest powered links were fucking comments and forums, and that's where everything was driving from, because I had done with this network, it was all like content production and then RSS output with forum posting and blog commenting, and then a couple like contextual link trades or whatever. And like the traffic that's been coming to that network for the last 6, 7, 8 years, you can't find that stuff. Like that's what formed into what was needed in those queries. So it's like you have to adapt to the market that you're in, and going out and dropping 1,000 blog comments to your page with a piece of software like directly to your money site on your homepage or whatever is not the best idea. But we
had clients ask us if it was a good idea after they had done it.
That's true. That was awesome to find all those blog
What do you think about Scrapebox? What the fuck are you using Scrapebox for, dude? You can get a lot of blog comments from there. You didn't already do it, did you? No, as he closes Scrape Box. It's like,
Dude, Scrape Box is rad, but you can.
I love Scrape Box.
It's like a gun, dude. You can kill yourself with it if you're not careful, right? But it's
or if you're very careful.
Right. Well,
yeah,
that's true.
I mean, Scrape Box can become like if you. There's a few things that you can use Scrape Box for. You can turn it into like a cash generating machine. With a few of the premium plugins. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I love Scrape Box.
It's a great Swiss Army knife. Like GSA Sir, like if people that know how to use it, that have like solid ass lists that continue to tailor those lists, there's a lot you can do with that shit. So you just got to have education. I mean, it comes down to that gut and then using the tools. It's even like Keyword Cupid, man. I've seen people go into Keyword Cupid and not be able to do stuff with it because they're not patient enough or they don't have the knowledge and they don't want to educate themselves on one or two things. It's like any tool. You need training and you need to understand shit to use it. Glenn's got a question.
Yeah.
Where is the best place to point links to on a commercial new product press release? To category page, the new product page, or highest ranked related page, or all the above? Thank you.
Yeah, it could be yes.
Yeah. So that's, I guess the question is like from the press release to the website, where are we pointing to?
Oh, maybe I read it wrong. I was imagining tiers coming into the press release, but yeah, if it's for local, where I like to hit is the landing page. So the page that you want to push, the GMB share link and the CID. Usually you get three per press release. If you're pushing local, just send it there. Make sure to include your name, address, phone in there, and let it rip.
Yeah, that's the way I would do it, man. And it reminds me. So it's a national pet food brand. Yeah, if you're doing, so you're talking about real press here. You're not talking about like a link scheme. You're talking about a new product on a real brand that you're trying to actually sell at this point is what it sounds like. So
I would throw in one of the socials that you want to build too. If you're getting real traffic to it, you could always hit the social, and that's going to in turn help you out.
I would definitely incorporate it into whatever kind. If you have any sort of branding going on or any sort of campaign going on certain platforms, I would absolutely tie the news into like what you are doing to promote it. So if you're giving a product away, like through the branded to Facebook or we were talking about Reddit, you're doing something on Reddit, talking about the buzz that's happening somewhere is never a bad idea to generate more buzz. But what are your thoughts, Craig? I mean, to me, it's a marketing question, honestly. It's a deep question,
Yeah, it's a deep question. But in this instance, it is a national pet food brand. And he's talking about real press releases. So I think, you guys have covered it pretty well. But, the best place to point links to a commercial new product press release, the category page, the new product page are the highest ranked. I mean, you can pretty much do them all, but it's the one that's going to make the most difference to you. If I had a product, for example, that was sat and, I'd done everything else and it hit page 5 very, very quickly, I'd be going in for the product specific, if that press release was specifically about that product and stuff like that. So I'd be very, very direct that way, but it depends on, as you guys say, the angle of the press release and stuff like that. Is it going to be, is it going to be about pet food or some special kind of pet food, or the press release going to be based around something more generic? Then, obviously you wouldn't put that to your product specific page. So it all really depends. You can pretty much get links to all of the above, but
I'm going to be cheesy and say it goes back to like the intent of like who you're targeting, man. And if you have like product video that you've done that you're promoting somewhere, you go to that product page directly, but also try to promote that video. If it's over on social, if it's over on a satellite or something. I think it's a direct tie-in, especially with press, because to me, press is a way to promote the campaigns I'm running. It's not necessarily a link building. It does build links. I'm not saying it doesn't do that. I'm saying, but to me, the reason to drop it is there's a campaign that's being run. Like we were doing a pharma product. And so that pharma product had some giveaways going on. So we were running that to the website, but we were also running it to the actual giveaway and everything that we were doing, because our goal was to capture emails at that time, right? So if you want to capture emails, then you're going to craft that way to capture emails with it, right? So I think that you need more detail on that to answer it properly from like a marketing standpoint. But Craig, I think, summed it up like perfectly, is that what's the most important to the person that you're targeting makes sense to me.
I think, but also the way I think about press releases is I really don't give a fuck. I'm not that. I'm more happy with the coverage and the traffic for the brand awareness side of it than trying to drop them on a specific page. Because certainly in my experience, if I want to get on one of the bigger, national presses, sometimes they're not interested even giving you a fucking link. That you even have to fight for a link full stop, to your homepage. So, I think press releases and stuff like that can be very difficult to also become laser targeted with as well. So you're going to fight that as well out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. We've got Anonym Anu. A friend told him. I love it when people say a friend told me. He builds Google site links to Money site and sends cheap VPN links to this Google site to buffer the Money site. What do you think about this? It's
I would think if I had a friend that told me that, I would say, hey, can I see your results? How's that going for you? Are you still testing?
I might look at a cheaper way to do it, and that might be where the tools come in that we're talking about. That might be somebody that has a nice List or XRummer or whatever. I personally think it would work for you. I'm going to say that right now. I think it might be too expensive.
Yeah.
But it can work. We don't want to be like the person that told Craig that blog comments don't work. And then he talks shit, about us when we're not around. I don't want that. So,
let's
just start a rumor that Clint said that.
I think he did, didn't he? The blog comments don't work.
That was Clint.
Yeah, that was Clint. Yes.
Sorry, Clint. But I'm sure you hear about that. So
sorry, not sorry. It was Clint for sure.
That was awesome.
Message Craig about.
There's a new course coming out. How
to rank with blog comments. Craig. How do you wear a hat all the time, Mike? This sucks.
What's that, Craig?
I want this Clint fighting Brad over what he's just fucking said there. Clint should replace me in the boxing ring. You reckon?
I don't know. Clint might just kill him.
I would be worried about him pulling a knife out. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, if we have a metal detector that he can pass through, maybe. Of course, he's got all those piercings that would set it off anyway. So
yeah, and in strange places, I would imagine as well.
Yeah, ones that you don't typically see.
Yeah,
we're just coming up with all kinds of rumors for Clint today.
Exactly.
Sorry, Clint.
Clint rumor days. So there was another one about duplicate content, and it's if I have a page that unintentionally ranks for a term that I want to create for a page for, say like Atlanta apartments. Actually, I ranked for that term at one point. That's funny. Should I still create a page specifically intended to rank for Atlanta apartments? Will canonical tags be crucial in this case? They're hoping to avoid creating duplicate content and instead create the correct content for a specific term, which I think is a great question, actually.
Yeah, that's your keyword exclusion, right?
Yeah, it's definitely intent-based. Intent-based because you can rank on the same page for the same website for the same keyword if you have different contexts for those pages, right? So just because there's a page that's like actually ranking for Atlanta apartments, is one of them a list of Atlantic like apartments in Atlanta, and another one about like the best way to look at good to rent one? Like, is there a different reason for it? There's a lot of things to answer there. At the end of the day, I don't want people to go out and create the same page over and over again. So if it's something like, I guess the easy answer for me would be, does it make sense for the existing page to be the one that ranks for Atlanta apartments, and does it not? Because if it doesn't, then it's time to go over and create the new one and use that page to funnel it over. I don't necessarily, what do you guys think about the canonical thing? Because I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be a duplicate piece of content.
I would link over
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily canonical it.
And I might, instead of using the anchor of Atlanta apartments on the page that's already ranking, I might just go ahead and throw the URL right next to that in the content and link over. And that way it's funneling properly in my mind.
Next question, fairly basic one from Inder Deep. What should we keep in mind when link building not to get penalized by Google in terms of backlink? We'll come to that. That's a separate one. So what are the key basic steps you would do when building backlinks to not be penalized by Google?
Let me break down this process that we do so I can see what steps we're taking not to be penalized by Google in there. Because I almost look at it like not like taking steps to not be penalized by Google, but understanding what they do and what they look for, and not recreating that for them and making it easy for them. Because, go ahead.
I was just going to say, step one for me, speaking from experience, don't over-optimize the piss out of your on page and then hit it with exact match anchor. That will, like, you're looking good with your on page. You're like, this is going to be fucking easy, 1 or 2 links. And then you hit it with like an exact match and it fucking disappears, So just be careful with your anchor text. Go broad when there's any question about it, So that's
like
that's
I just
said.
If the page is topical, we were just talking about Atlanta apartments, right? If the page is topical and you have this amazing page that you can place a link on in your network or someone else's website, and it's all about that exact topic, drop the freaking URL in there. If it's not an over-optimized title or whatever, drop the title in there. Like, drop something in there, like with a window on the right or the left of the keyword that you're trying to rank for or whatever. And have that association and push it over like that, because now you've got a topical page to a topical page. You don't need necessarily an exact match anchor on that type of page. Now, if it's an irrelevant page, maybe you're going to get closer to your anchor. And I guess that's where I'd go with the anchor text there. What else would you do, Craig, to not be penalized? Anything you thinking of?
I don't really think of it. I don't really have that thought in my head where I'm not going to get penalized. Obviously, a lot of this stuff's very common sense to us who've been doing it for years. What you're saying is going broad with your anchors, optimize your page. If you're going to use PBNs, avoid leaving footprints. Don't go out there and buy 100 links, on day one. Drip feed this shit on. Be sensible. You don't need 100 links. As Brad says, and I want to highlight that, is if you're doing optimization, good on page, and you hit maybe the top page or maybe top end of page 2, you don't always need to go heavy in the links. And I just feel that many people go all aggressive with everything, including the volume of links that they build. They don't just buy 2 or 3 and see where the fuck it lands. They're fucking, like, sometimes I had a guy who I'd done a bit of training stuff with, and I've got this project that I've launched like 6 months ago. And basically we've done a fairly aggressive content strategy. It was on an age domain name. And he's like, how's your shit going? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, we just parked it for 6 months. We've done what we've done, put it to the side for 6 months just to let Google pick up shit and figure stuff out. There's this urgency, bang, 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 why? And the guy's like, dude, I can't fucking believe that you've done that. And I'm like, that's the way I always do it. Like,
Mike working with me on a deadline though can get annoying. I can tell you that. Stop being a bitch,
dude. Where does this happen? No, but on the seeding thing, like, seriously, domains with solid profile. You bought an age domain. If you go out and drop that content and let it seed for months, then you come back very surprised and start to like kind of nudge things in a direction. That's why we teach the methods we teach. Like, I don't tell people to go out and build lots of links. Go build a few links, like 2 or 3 links to the page you're targeting with proper anchors, or no anchor, just on proper pages. But it's all about not creating patterns for recognition, right? Like the latest link spam update, they did roll in some of their recognition. I'm not even saying that right, but into the algorithms, right? But they look for patterns, and that's how you get on manual review like lists, is because they look for patterns. Like, they can tell if the URLs are the same on all these websites. Like the same URL structure with similar content pointing to your website can flag you. Like there are things that can flag you. And that's why we talk about just don't do certain things on your PBN, don't do certain things in your link building, because the more recognizable something is, the easier it is to end up on a person's list. And when you end up on a person's list, they're not as easy as the algorithm. They're a little bit pickier than the algorithm. And now you've got real work to do to like recover shit. And that sucks, right? So I think avoiding patterns would be my biggest thing. Just avoid patterns as much as possible if you're looking for a way to not be penalized, because there's so many things for different markets that come into play that as long as you avoid those patterns that are negative, like you want the good patterns, but not the negative ones. So that's, I think, the easiest way to not get on a list, but I don't know.
Inder Deep's got another one. What if my client wants to rank for keywords like air compressor in Iraq? Should I create a new page? Because right now they're ranking in the UAE for keyword air compressor UAE. So UAE and Iraq, two different locations, different countries, I believe. So you would want to have a different page on even a different website. If that is ranking really well in the UAE, then do you really want to try and pull in? I'm not sure of where the UAE. I know it is
the United Arab Emirates, I think, but
I'm not sure in terms of where Iraq is. Like,
I don't know geographically.
It's like me being the UK and maybe trying to just pull in some French shit. I would potentially just go and build a French website for that. Do you know what I mean? Like rather than
100%, because we're about to localize in a like really restricted market, and that is something like that is important to really kind of understand the need there. Like if they for some reason share habits, share culture, like when it comes, and when I say this, I mean like search. Like if it's like tied in your data, and like these are the same thing in your data, then maybe not. But I would absolutely, because of the way blended and local works, I would be focusing on delivering like the context and the intent for Iraq and separate it from the UAE.
Yeah,
personally.
But
are you looking where they are, Brad?
Yeah. They're separated by a country, it looks like, on the map.
So they're a country apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
So it's like the UK, maybe, and then going to target Portugal or some shit like that. We're broken by France and Spain. So you have to treat it as something completely separate. I wouldn't be trying to merge it together.
And the off page can become completely different for that as well. And that's why there might be a really good reason to do a website for it. There are certain markets where the link practices and the habits of people searching are completely different than English. So it really does depend on your market.
The terminology as well could be completely different. People in America talk differently to us in the UK, and even though we're all English speaking, we certainly target different terms and call things different names and all that. So you need to take all of that into account. But
if you want to piss someone off from Australia, ask them if they have an English accent.
We have Anu. I know who this is now, actually. Hello, Theo. He's trying to remain anonymous, and he's just giving himself away with what he's just asked. But what do you think about this kind of anchor text? Contact now this garage near London in order to have the exact match terms without having the exact match word.
You don't necessarily need it, though.
It's dependent on what you're doing with the rest of your profile on that page as well, to me. I like title matches. I like title matches are my favorite if I can get away with it, which is contextual. Like a single word, there's not a lot of context, but contact now this garage near London has a lot of freaking context there. It's a local context because people want to go and contact that garage, which means most likely they have a physical car that they want to talk to these people about. So they're probably in the area. And if they match,
you're not going to fix an imaginary car.
Well, some people do that, dude. So I have my imaginary Lambo outside, dude.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's red.
Yeah, your wife bought you that, right?
Yeah. Yesterday.
Birthday. Yeah.
Final one, and the answer is yes already, Craig H. You do want to build citations for each location page for a local business.
Each one of those for a local business, say you have a GMB associated with each of those internal pages. Each of those in itself is a separate entity that's all tied to the primary entity.
Yep.
So you want to push those separate entities. You're going to have a different name, address, phone for each one. You're going to have a different landing page for each one. You're going to have a different, I already said
well,
phone.
you can have different websites and tie them together through a branded website too.
You can.
I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do this, but it's very different. I wanted to point out, because I read it wrong first, about like citations to every page on a local site is different than citations to each location. Because yes, but like Brad said, you want to establish each location as its own separate little beast of an entity.
Talking about locations with different sites, ServPro, like that type of instance would be one where you have a number of different like separate sites for each, separate domains for each location, because they're a franchise, I believe. So I'm assuming that's why they would have that. But
there's
all
many,
tied to
there's arguments for like subdomains. There's arguments for individual websites. Like you can have multiple like location pages on a website if you change them and the intent of those pages. Like if you have a directory search and then you have like information about the location, those can be secondary pages, and you can pull traffic on both sets from the same queries, right? So, but the simple answer is, build the entity for every location, every physical location.
Cool. But before we do bugger off and go back to doing some work, you guys
been working? You don't look like you've been working.
Nah, I ain't been working. I took the day off. Fuck that shit, man.
Me too.
But
who gave you the day off? Who said you could have it?
His
wife.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice.
That's
need a wife like
good
that.
Answer.
Yeah.
But we do we have any more information on the NFG website in terms of other speakers? What is happening?
Chris Palmer's been he's been locked in, right?
Yeah, Chris, I finally got in touch with, and he's been locked in, but I got his bio info, so we're going to toss him up there.
Leo needs to go on there. Yeah, Kyle needs to go on there.
Leo needs to go on. You know, I think the important thing for people to know is that the way that it's structured this year is it's 2 days of like deep process explanation and then implementation. So like the first year, we want people to go home with rankings from the event. Like they're not just coming over and learning, they're going to be actually working if they want to work. And so we're talking about having Ted Kubatis like telling you how to use Cora alongside with Leo, how to tie it in with like your intent and your keyword grouping.
Dude, I'm going to set up a project to bring so Ted can look at it on the fucking workshop day. To be honest.
Dude, Ted, when you sit down with Ted,
he's kinds of excited.
Ted's freaking fun, dude. Ted is a freaking beast. Like some of the stuff that he does in e-commerce, I really like. It's similar to some of the stuff we've done. There's a lot of fun shit that's going to happen this year. It's going to be a fun time. I actually won't be drunk this time. It's kind of funny.
Well, guys, if you're interested in going, check out
NFG2021.com.
Yeah. Hit us up on Skype, BADMAB86 if you want. Craig, you back?
We lost you for a second. You froze.
Fuck.
I did your pose for you.
Yeah.
Replicated in the UK, he says. The UK. We have a lot of there's Aussies, there's New Zealanders, and I like getting people from New Zealand and South Africa together to talk about rugby. It's fun,
man. That can be dangerous.
It's amazing, dude. I love it. I love it, dude.
You got a rugby match.
I think we're getting our arms twisted about some stuff for everyone that's foreign that's involved in coming now. So that's bought tickets and stuff. So we might have some stuff to talk about at some point there.
Cool. But yeah, check it out, guys. NFG2021.com. Grab your space. Limited space available, so make sure you get there because it's going to be fun.
It's getting close. Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to sign off by saying ODYS have 30% off of those age domains if you want to take advantage and not have to build links right from the get-go. Then check out odys.cc. Link is below and grab your 30% off up until the end of August. And we will catch you guys next week. Do check out these guys. They are on a Thursday night. If you want more from these guys, nfgseo.com/7. So check that out as well.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
guys.
Craig. Have
No
fun.
worries.
Have a good day, dude.